This year, I am very lucky to be participating in the Red Envelope show in New York City. It's a show where artists are painting on red envelopes, lucky red envelopes for Chinese New Year. We display them all on the wall in a huge gallery. Problem is, I'm nervous. I have these 3 envelopes and I have no extras and I can't make any mistakes, and I've already transferred all my designs onto them, and I'm just too scared to actually paint on them. This is my journey of actually doing it. But I'm really excited for the show. I'm so excited. This is my first professional show, and it's like kind of a big deal. I've only ever been in like student shows and stuff, so this is kind of like my first step into that professional world. Hope these turn out good, and I hope I don't mess it up. Genius. Welcome to the voiceover. So I'm just showing you guys some of the supplies I'll be using. So I have the red envelopes I'll be painting on. I'm using Holbein acrylic gouaches. I also have this nice ceramic palette from Sunday Studio, which is a local artist in Brooklyn. I also have a variety of round brushes. This is mostly what I'm using. Sick water transition, my dirty old rag, and here are my color studies for this project. I just did tiny little gouache paintings to see what kind of colors I wanted to be using. So I have my sketch on my iPad that I did in Procreate. And I transferred this onto my envelope. And as you can see, the transfer paper I used caused me much struggle. It was not getting erased. So that was problem number 1, but I, just moved on and started painting and hoping that the paint would cover the pencil marks. And now I'm actually putting paint on the paper, and you can see how nervous I am because I'm moving so slow. But I think I was really scared to see how the paint was going to look on top of the red paper because I wasn't sure if it was going to be opaque enough, because I feel like I'm used to painting on white paper, obviously, and so the red was a little nerve-wracking, but I think it did a pretty good job. There are some parts where I had to go over a couple times just to make sure I had full coverage. I tried not to make too many mistakes, obviously, but I didn't really want to have to go in and color correct anything. Because I didn't want to build up too many layers of paint on this paper, because I didn't want it to look unprofessional and weird when it was on the wall. I think I did an okay job. I definitely should have been more consistent with my paint mixing. And speaking of paint mixing, here I am mixing up the colors for this character's dress. Since the base of the envelopes are red, I decided to go with kind of a reddish green kind of combo, but not in like a Christmassy way, more of like a teal and red combo, just so I have that complementary colors thing. And here I am checking how it looks on the inside, because I also wasn't sure how the paper was going to look on the back with the paint. Okay, and then moving on to this snake. Oh my god, this yellow for some reason was just so not opaque, and I guess I should have expected that just because yellow is not a very opaque color. I just struggled so much to get a full coverage of this, the full coverage of this snake. And it's harder to tell on camera, but in person, it really was not opaque at all. So I had to go over this several times. which was annoying, but it did work out. This is where I'm at so far. I think it's mostly done. I'm probably gonna call it a day for this first one and then pick this back up tomorrow. I think I need fresh eyes on it, and also I need to wait till it's like fully dry before I make any drastic changes. Now I'm starting on the second envelope, and I struggled. I struggled with this envelope a lot, and I am not really sure if I'm happy with how it turned out in the end, but you know, you live and you learn. Things started out okay. It's really, I chose, I think, a bad color for the dress. I wanted to have a little variety between the 3 envelopes. So 2 of them were already kind of a greeny blue color, so I decided to go with pink for this one. And I had to change the color a lot, and I'm not sure that was the right choice, but it is what it is.
God, that show ruined me though.
I
love
know.
Echo. Love Echo.
Oh my god, I knew you were gonna love Echo.
I think everyone loves Echo. From what I've
Yeah,
seen,
everyone loves Echo.
there's no way to hate Echo.
But I knew you were gonna love him. It is several days later. I really thought I was gonna finish this in like a couple of days, and I really wanted to get them done like 3 days ago. So this is where I got on that last one that I was working on. Can't say I'm really happy with it. I think something about it is not right. I'm still happy with this one, and then I have not started painting this one. And I'm thinking today's best plan might be to paint this one so that I can feel like I've got a lot more done. Go back in on this one either tonight or tomorrow. There's already like 3 layers of paint on this like pink part. I just don't like the pink. I think the pink is a problem. And in my original color study, I did like a really light pink. But I don't know what's best. And finally, we are on our last envelope. I have to say that I think this one is my favorite, maybe because I had already done the other 2, so I knew what I was doing, but I definitely felt the most confident on this one. This is the one that most people have the most trouble figuring out what's going on, but I don't even care because I'm happy with how it came out. And I think that's all that matters. I think the colors look really good, and I like the pose, even though it's kind of unconventional, but I think it's good. I'll just talk a bit about the themes that I have going on in these paintings. So I decided that since this is the year of the snake, and also I was really, really excited to be in the show, I would do 3 dancers with snakes because I was feeling really happy about it, and I wanted these to be just bright and light and beautiful and something that's really fun to look at. So each of them has a dancer in like a unique different position, and they all have the same golden snake around them. I tried to go with some kind of vintage style clothing for all of them. I was looking at mostly mid-century Chinese fashion when I was designing these characters. I wanted it to kind of have that, I don't know, like mid-century or maybe even 1920s kind of fancy Great Gatsby party vibe. So they're all wearing these kind of fancy clothes and cutesy little shoes and have a bunch of jewelry and accessories, and they all have different hairstyles, and so I just wanted to have fun and play around with the 3 different looks a lot. Now that the 3 paintings of the dancers are done, it's time for final details. So I wanted to include a border on these to help tie them all together and also to help fill up some of the space, so it didn't look so empty. And so I'm using the same kind of orangey yellow color as the snakes to make that border, and also the border is made of little suggestions of a snake. You can see they have like a little head, and then they also have little sparkles on them, and I'm adding some more little sparkles right now, just to decorate the page and make it look more interesting to the eye. Psych! You thought I was done? I'm not done! Inside of Hanbao, normally, they put money. Your aunties and your uncles and your grandparents and everything put $5, $10, $50 if you're lucky, and they give it to all the kids. For this show, the red envelope show, you're supposed to put something in the envelope. I'm kind of thinking like some kind of patch or like embroidered thing. I have a lot of felt in here that I could use to make like some snakes or something. I feel like I could make like a cool like patch or embroidered keychain situation, and I have to make 3. So I didn't film a lot of this process, so I will just try to explain how I made these to you right now. Basically, I had the shape of the snake that I wanted cut out of felt, and then I had a larger piece that was going to act as sort of the border. So I started stitching that outline of the snake onto the larger piece, and then I would stop every once in a while and start filling it so it kind of had a puffy look. And so you can see here that I'm using a paintbrush, and I'm kind of stuffing the cotton into the areas I had already sewn up, and then I continue sewing, and then I go back to stuffing, and then I go, back and forth between those two so I can have like a raised effect. And then in the end, I added some stripes onto them and then sewed them to the backing and stuffed that full, so it was like a plush with 3D raised elements, if that makes sense. And here they are. This is what they ended up looking like, and these were given out with the red envelopes to the buyers.
What are we taking a video of?
Us?
Bye stuff. Red dots. Oh yeah.
To wrap up this video, I just wanted to give my final thoughts on my experience. It was so amazing. I'm so happy and grateful to have been a part of it. I feel so blessed to have been displayed in this gallery with so many artists that I look up to. It was really a surreal experience. I really love going to events like that, gallery openings, award shows, stuff like that. It makes me feel so happy to mingle with people that I've met and meet new people. This was a really special show to me, not only because it was my first professional show, but also I grew up up with the red envelopes, getting them for my family on Chinese New Year. And so it was kind of crazy to be connecting my past and my culture to my career. And also I'm the year of the snake, so everything kind of just felt like, you know, it was meant to be. So big thank you to Grumpy Bert, who is the organizer of the show. Also thank you to the Harmon Projects, which is the gallery that hosted the show. To my friends and family who came out to support me that night. Thank you to the buyers of my envelopes, aka my family. I feel so lucky to have family that wants to support me in that way and purchase my artwork. Big thank you to my studio mate. And thank you for watching. Bye!